Hello, and welcome back to Turn to Your Doom, a podcast where we explore the many different paths of choose your own adventure books. My name is Faith, and today with me is somebody who was just gonna go on a research trip, and now there's pirate ghosts. Art.
Hi, I'm gonna make you relive your worst time of your life.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm Professor X, making Magneto relive the Holocaust. I should laugh at that. God, I should laugh at that. It's such an Xavier thing to do.
I'm not even surprised.
First off, bad. That's just a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Making people relive any bad part of their life, but especially the Holocaust.
Yeah, the entire genocide of your people that you witness personally.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm glad that fucking clip is just going around.
That is, so especially good. With the new X-Men series. We saw the trailer for that, and at the end, when Magneto's like, yeah, Charles left me everything in his will, I'm like, he better have after what he put you through. Because all I could think about is that clip.
Well, also there was that one little brief thing where they showed, like, Gambit supercharging, Wolverine's skeleton.
Oh, hell yeah.
And me knowing, no, first off, okay, the glowing purple and, like, the extra energy thing. Okay, that's cool. But technically, he makes things explode. So, I would like to imagine that he does that, being like, yeah, this will be cool as fuck. And then you just see Wolverine explode and be like, oh, shit.
Wolverine, I would love that, because then Wolverine would just get back up and be like, I'm okay. I'm okay.
But yeah. But yeah, okay, sorry.
God, that clip is so funny. Anyways, we're talking about a TikTok about Charles Xavier making Magneto relive the Holocaust, and then making other people also relive the Holocaust.
I love the one where he goes this Cyclops, he's just like, I mean, it's not real. Be like, do you mean the thing I did,
you mean the Vision or the Holocaust? He's like, oh no, I mean, like, it's not real.
I mean, it's not real. Like, you know what I mean? It's not real.
They're like, no, we need clarification, Scott.
Oh, God.
Anyways, oh fuck, that clip's so funny though. Anyways, we're gonna be reading Blood Island. It's one of these specifically, like it is specifically a horror choose your own adventure. It's choose your own nightmare. It's part of that series, and it is written by Liz Windover. And it was published the first time. Let me see. 2014. Nice. So it's one of the newer ones. But yeah, it from what I've seen so far, there's of course an island, maybe some blood. Spoiler alert. There's ghosts and pirates and pirate ghosts and zombies. It looks really fun, and I hope it's real spooky. Are you ready? Are you ready for this, Art?
I mean, I'm not, but I'm gonna have to be. I'm gonna get my large body pillow / actual giant bear plushie and hug it.
Okay, good. Because, yeah, this one's going to be spooky. Alright, so you grip the cool white railing at the stern of the Albatross 3, the ship where you'll be living for the next 3 weeks. The gleaming boat pulls away from the dock with a honk of her horn, and you take a deep breath to settle your nerves. You are leading a team of research scientists on a trip to investigate a species of giant flightless bird, the crested adzebil, which was once presumed extinct. It will take 5 days to sail from San Francisco to a remote island in the Pacific Ocean, where the adzebil was recently sighted. You've nearly finished with your degree in zoology, and if you can find the bird, the discovery can make your career. There are 11 other young scientists with you from the university plus 10 crew members. As the ship makes a wide turn and glides smoothly beneath the Golden Gate Bridge, you see your friend Andrea come up from below deck. Andrea, hey, you wave. I wonder where you were hiding. I had to scope out the ship first, she says. Andrea was another student in your department, studying extinct species of the Pacific Islands. Were you able to find out why our destination is called Blood Island, you ask? Not yet, Andrea says.
Okay. Faith.
Uh-huh.
Most places are named because of a thing that happened there.
I mean...
like a person, built it up, or it's so hot that you can die in it, aka Death Valley. I feel like if it's a place called Blood Island, one of two things happened there. A lot of blood was there, or a guy named Blood found it.
Oh, okay, that is possible. I was thinking colonization.
Could also,
or
they're not going to call it Blood. They're not going to call it a Bloody Massacre Island because they did a bloody massacre. They're going to call it like Deus Vaultville or something.
Or they could call it that because a colonizer was killed there by the local inhabitants. Like
they could call it that.
Like Captain Cook on Hawaii, which is why we all celebrate on February 14th. Definitely not any other holiday.
Yeah.
It's because that asshole got what was his.
I would say, I do want to remind people, there is two places in Texas. One called White Settlement, the other one called Black Settlement. I wonder what's happened to those places. And why they haven't changed the name.
What could it be? Ah, yes, where all the Cuban ice devils went. I just
unedited Google Docsville.
Snow Roachville. Snow Roachton. I just watched a TikTok today of a guy interviewing a lady on the street about, like, how would you feel if I called you a white slur? And she's like, I wouldn't care, reverse racism isn't real. And all I could think about is all the times you called me a Yakubian ice devil and how funny it was.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I feel like some people would hurt a little bit if you called them a Yakubian ice devil out of nowhere. Because, like, they don't know, first off, they don't know where that's coming from.
It's true.
And second off, like, if they do somehow, like, have it go, like, follow it back to, god damn, why can't I remember the name? But, like, if they somehow know that that's, like, that I'm calling them an ice devil because, the white man doesn't quote-unquote exist according to Hoteps, and that they're created by the devil.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of layers going there, and part of it's Black Israelites, which is not a common thing for white people to know. So.
No, that is true. You could just call them an ice devil.
No, but the Yakubians specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, God, like, you're just like, what the fuck is that?
What does it mean? Not yet, Andrea says. All I know is we'll be there in 5 days. I'm so excited. Can you believe it?
Sorry, I don't want to harp on this. Why is the place we're going called We're Gonna Get Murdered by Something, Bill? I don't know why it's called that, but we're gonna be there soon.
Why is that? Why is it called Murder House Island?
Why is it called I'm Gonna Stab You Specifically, Josh? Like, I don't know, Josh,
I don't know,
but we're gonna be there soon.
I'm really excited to get there. Oh, boy. Can you believe it? We'll be the ones to prove that the Adsville isn't extinct after all. And then also, maybe you'll get stabbed, Josh. What was that? Nothing. I know, you say, grinning. It would be great, but I still don't understand how the Adspill, a prehistoric species, could be living on an island that formed from a volcano so recently. Well, Andrea says, that's what the geologists say, but I'm not so sure. I think it's just an excuse for why no one's discovered the island before now. I guess we'll find out in 5 days, huh? You say, turning to look across the ocean stretching endlessly in front of you. 4 days later, after dinner, you're sitting in the dining cabin with Andrea, reading about Moa Nalo, a giant extinct duck, in your brand new copy of Photographic Field Guide to Hawaii's Most Exotic Birds. The atmosphere in the cabin is rowdy and warm. You're supposed to reach land tomorrow, and people are getting excited. Can you believe Glenn beat me at chess again today? Andrea laments, glaring at Glenn across the room. I used to think I was pretty good. You look up from your book just in time to see Glenn put Natasha into checkmate, eliciting a round of whoops and cheers. Then out of the kitchen comes Mac, one of the ship's cooks, and the two of you have become friends over the last few days. He's a little older than you and grew up in Hawaii. What's up, Mac, you ask? You wanted to know more about Blood Island? Mac asks. Cooper, the other kitchen guy, has followed Mac over to the table. Ask Ernie, Cooper says. He knows. Ernie is one of the deckhands. He's so weather-beaten, he looks about 90 years old. He's sitting at the next table. At Cooper's words, he turns his kindly face towards you. Blood Island is cursed, he says quietly, and turns back to his dinner. It's not ominous at all.
Blood Island's filled with things I want to stab you.
Great.
Also, it's cursed.
It's cursed, yeah. A few of the others in the room have stopped what they were doing and are listening in. Yeah, but what do you mean cursed, Max says. Curses aren't real. Oh, this one is, says Ernie matter-of-factly. A lot of people died there long time ago. The people who settled the land, and sailors too. No one knows how, because no one has ever lived to tell the tale. Ernie takes another bite of beef stew. But I have seen things. It's not called Blood Island for nothing. What did you see? Asked Glenn, who was moved closer to hear the conversation. You know, he announces. I heard that the last research team, the ones that reported seeing the Adspill, they're all in the psychiatric ward now. Ernie doesn't look up from his bowl. He shrugs his shoulders and nods his head, but doesn't say anything further. Well, believe what you want, Cooper interjects. I know you all have work to do out there, but I'm not setting foot off this boat. You and Andrea and Mac exchange glances. As a scientist, you form your opinions based on facts, not rumors. And you certainly do not believe in curses. Still, Ernie's story leaves you feeling uneasy. That night, sleep comes slowly. You finally drift off with the rocking of the boat. And next thing you know, you hear a thunderous bang, and you're thrown from your bed. What was that? You run up on deck. The wind is whipping and the waves are roaring. Through the ship's bright lights, you see rain coming down in thick sheets. Get back inside, someone shouts. It's Andrea and Mac. They are behind you, holding onto the doorframe and squinting against the blowing rain. The ship begins listing to one side. You must be taking on water. Then you look overboard into the waves and see an enormous whirlpool right next to the ship. It's a few 100 feet across and spinning with a violent force. The center goes so deep you can't see the bottom. A huge wave slams the deck, soaking all three of you to your skin. You've got both arms wrapped around the railing, but you still almost lose your grip. You look into the whirlpool. The spinning, swirling, roiling green-black water is hypnotic. You realize with a lurch of your stomach that the Albatross 3 is getting closer to the vortex. You might be past the point of no return. The ship keeps tilting, keeps picking up speed until you're nearly sideways against the vortex inner wall. Your body is pressed against the deck from the centrifugal force. The wind shrieks like a chorus of people screaming for help. Or is that actually the chorus of people screaming for help? You can't think straight. The pressure of the spin becomes too great. Your eyes roll back.
The pressure of the spin is also looking a little, I don't know. I mean, would you? I mean, I'm just saying, the pressure,
You've been at sea.
I normally don't.
You've been at sea for so long. 4 days.
Like, the pressure of this vortex, I don't know. It's making me feel something I don't really feel normally.
Calm down. Damn. Your eyes roll back in your head. The world dissolves into a gray vacuum, then into the silent black hole. You awaken with a mighty cough, spewing out seawater. You blink your eyes and open and see the sky smudgy with dark gray clouds. Your head is pounding in pain and your arms are weak. You manage to sit up. You're on a long, wide beach bordered by jungle. A lumpy, lush mountain shrouded in spectral mist towers beyond the tree line. Its top is obscured by clouds. The whole scene is dark. Even the sand beneath your feet is dark gray, almost black. You wonder if it's volcanic. You look at your watch, a cheap digital one you bought just for the trip. You're surprised to see the seconds still ticking by dutifully, but the time says 1:37 a.m. This is impossible given the fact that there's light in the sky right now. You wipe your forehead and see blood smeared on your hand. At a loud chattering sound, you whirl across to see the remnants of Albatross 3 strewn across the sand, and Andrea emerging from the wreckage. Andrea, are you okay? What happened? Andrea stumbles over some debris towards you. Yes, I'm fine. Her shirt sleeve is badly torn and her lip is cut. What happened? You asked again. I think I passed out. Me too, she says. Last thing I remember is being sucked into that hole in the ocean. She gestures helplessly behind her at the ruined ship. It's lying on its side. The hole is cracked in two. Random shafts of splintered wood and metal lay around here and there. Where is everyone, you ask, afraid of the answer. Andrea grimaces and shakes her head, but doesn't meet your eyes. You both begin to walk the perimeter of the wreck, and as you come around to the other side, you hear a loud groan and see the bulky shape of Mac struggling out from beneath the piece of metal sheeting. He looks disoriented. His eyes focus in and out on your face before he sighs deeply and stumbles over to grab you both in a big hug of relief. Hey, look, Andrea says, looking over Mac's shoulder when he lets go. She lifts a piece of the wreckage, revealing a bright red canvas bag. Mac drags it to the beach and opens it. It's an emergency kit containing 30 or 40 energy bars, some flare guns, a couple of two-way radios, a compass, matches, and a flashlight. You realize you're starving, so you all grab a few energy bars and sit down to eat them on the sand. What should we do, you say? It's getting dark, it must be evening. Your energy bar tasted like weirdly flavored cardboard. We should find water, Andrea says, absent-mindedly, pouring a handful of sand onto her feet. Gotta find some place to sleep, Mac adds. He's looking out at the ocean as if he'll find answers there. You keep getting weird feeling, like someone is watching you. Your scalp prickles, and your body has this jumpy feeling of anticipation. You look over...
I feel like that one dude has a good idea. I mean, you can sleep in the water. In fact, I heard there's a guy named Davy Jones down there. And he really loves it when people visit him and sleep.
Yeah.
Especially in his locker, because apparently it's actually a really cold bed or something.
You look over your shoulder again at the dark jungle, but you don't see anyone or anything. Just a thick wall of leaves and vines. The island is supposed to be uninhabited, but still. Andrea finishes her energy bar and stands up. I really think water should be priority number 1, she says. We're all dehydrated, I'm sure of it. I'm definitely going to get those trees right now, I'm definitely not going into those trees right now, not if it's getting dark, Mac announces, shaking his head. Andrea sighs and looks at you. What do you think we should do? If you decide to build a shelter, first, turn to page 13. If you decide to find water first, turn to page 52.
I mean, I feel like shelter is a more immediate concern.
Okay.
Because, you could still live a couple of days without water, but shelter would probably be more important than you would go water. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's how I would do it anyway.
Okay, so you need shelter. So page 13. Andrea pulls a 5-gallon bucket out of the wreckage on the beach. You would have used it for collecting scientific samples if everything had gone according to plan. Okay, well, I can only bring so much water back by myself, she snaps, walking into the trees. See you soon. What if she gets lost? You ask Mac. She'll be fine, Mac answers. Help me with the shelter, would you? Before long, you've managed to prop together several large pieces of wreckage into a makeshift lean-to. Andrea has not returned. You keep glancing out at the horizon, hoping that you'll see a ship coming to your rescue, but none appear. You get a prickly feeling down your neck, like someone is watching you. You turn back towards the jungle, but nothing is there. You take a deep breath and shake your head. An hour later, you and Max sit by a small fire, watching the stars. The sun is set and the clouds have dispersed, but the air is still heavy with tropical warmth. Andrea has not returned. Think she's okay, Mac? You ask. I hope so, he says. Maybe you should have gone with her after all. He looks genuinely worried now, which you didn't expect. If you decide to stay up to wait for Andrea, go on to the next page. If you decide you should try and get some sleep, turn to page 42.
I say this every single time. It's better to wait where people know where you're at, or wait where you're at first. But in this case, let's go try to find Andrea.
Well, you stay up and wait for her. You're not going to go look for her.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's stay up and wait for her, then.
Okay. You are exhausted, but you will yourself to stay awake. Mac falls asleep in front of the fire next to you, and then you start to nod off. Andrea shakes you awake some time later. You can hardly see her by the light of the dying fire. Andrea, we were getting worried, you say, sitting up. What took so long? Did you get lost? I found water, Andrea says quietly and points to the full bucket. She looks oddly calm. You stumble over to the bucket and scoop a handful of cold, fresh water into your parched mouth. You feel guilty that you didn't go with her. Are you okay? You ask. She raises her eyebrows. I'm fine, she says lightly, as if she had only been gone for 5 minutes. Then she heads to the lean-to. You rouse Mac and you both join her in the shelter. The three of you immediately fall asleep. In the safety of the lean...
Yeah, she's obviously fine. She said it, so nothing creepy's happening at all.
Yeah, nothing
right
weird. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
In the safety of the lean-to, you enter a deep sleep and dream you are wandering a foggy landscape, part jungle, part endless beach. You're searching for someone. The fog rolls away from the sand, revealing small stakes stuck into the ground. There is a human head jammed onto each stake. They look like they're still alive. You know they can't be, but the eyes and lips are moving. You want to turn and run, but suddenly your feet are stuck in the sand like concrete. The sand below the stakes turns crimson with dripping blood. The breaking waves turn into a pinkish-green foam. Look behind you and call out for Mac and Andrea. They emerge from the lean-to, but their heads are missing. You're slammed with nausea, and then everything starts shaking. Mac is shaking you awake. It's morning. Wake up! You'll never guess what we found, Mac says eagerly. You sit up and recall your horrible dream. It's another dark, cloudy day. The mountaintop is still lost in the clouds. Even though you were dreaming, you feel like you saw something real happen long ago. Nightmare? We had them too, Max says with a shudder. But hey, we found a raft. A raft? You ask in amazement, and follow their gaze across the beach to an oblong white capsule, about the size of an oil drum. It inflates when you pull out the cord, Max says in excitement. Relatively speaking, we're not far from Hawaii, Andrea says. It might be worth a shot. The currents should bring us close enough to the shipping lane at the very least. You feel an instant surge of hope and relief, but looking out at the empty ocean, you're also worried. What if you get lost, or another storm hits and the raft capsizes? If we could reach Hawaii or a ship, we'd be saved, you say. Isn't it dangerous? It might not be as bad as you think, Max says thoughtfully. Life rafts are really high-tech these days. They're designed to hold a lot of people afloat for a long time. And we'll even have a roof when it inflates. Another storm could do us in, but hopefully we would reach safety first. I was thinking about exploring the island more before we decide. Maybe that shipwreck way down the beach? You follow Andrea's finger pointing. You see part of a wrecked ship with a broken mast and drooping sail. You wonder how old it is, and whether there might be anything useful or interesting on board. If you think it's best to set out in the raft now, before wasting any more time, turn to page 20. If you're hesitant to venture out on the water and would prefer to explore the shipwreck first, turn to page 25.
I mean, the shipwreck. So, like, I understand, like, being like, okay, like, oh, we're close enough, blah, 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 but, like, if it's open sea, like, you have no guarantee, and, like, you could easily get swept out further into open sea.
Yeah.
It's better to stay in one place, and if there's, like, jungle and stuff there, that means there's wood, and you can make smoke signals or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, but also, like, why wouldn't you want to look at the shipwreck? Like, nothing, like right now, with the knowledge that we have right now, besides this place being called Blood Island, we have there's nothing immediately telling us that there's danger.
That is true.
Besides the nightmares and the constant feeling of being watched.
Yeah.
Besides that, but right now, at this very second, when I'm thinking about this, let's go. Yeah, let's go to the ship.
Okay. Let's check out the shipwreck, you suggest. Mac looks disappointed, but follows you and Andrea. It takes 20 minutes to walk all the way down the beach. Up close, you realize the ship is massive. The only part of it is intact. You can see it had 4 masts and multiple decks. You used to build model ships when you were a kid. You think of some of their names, brigs, schooners, clippers, but all those were smaller and built for speed. This one looks like a galleon, one of the biggest merchant vessels ever built. They sailed all over the world during the 1600s and 1700s. You also remember that Manila galleons, which regularly sailed and traded between the Philippines and Mexico, discovered many small island chains in the Pacific on their journeys. You read many legends about the ships like this, You read many legends about ships like this, that they were lost with treasure on board. Turn to page 29. You walk very close to the ship and shudder. You feel a cold draft. The ship's upper deck is mostly unbroken and extends about 150 feet from end to end. The whole front of the hull rests on a rocky outcropping. The wide boards are dry and faded gray with salt and sun, and the broken pieces remind you of ragged teeth. The rear of the ship suffered the most of the damage, and is now mostly a pile of jumbled wood. One small mast remains, its shredded canvas pointing to the sky. You glance at Mac and notice his eyes are fixed on the prow. The bowsprit at the very front of the ship is still intact and points far out over the water.
And it's of a really hot lady.
We're almost there. This figurehead below it is carved with a berobed angel in veering lines. Oh, man. I wish it was a hot lady. Oh, wait.
A hot lady, boobies out, just so hot.
So hot. Oh, wait. There's another figure on the bowsprit itself. You realize with a chill that it's a real human skeleton. Fuck! You tied tightly to the wood with thick fraying rope. You notice that the skull is missing and a large piece of bone as well as its lower jaw. God damn it. I was hoping it was a hot lady.
I mean, that skeleton could have been a hot lady.
It's true, we don't know. You wonder whether exploring further is a good idea, but you can't stop thinking about the possibility of finding a chest full of Mexican silver on board. You spot a thick... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm okay. Like, what about, like, the spirit of adventure and discovery? You know? Why does it have to be Mexican silver?
Yeah. Why can't we just explore to explore?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to take a walk around a spooky ship. You spot a thick knotted rope hanging over the side of the ship. You give it a sharp tug and decide it's secure. You climb up, hand over hand. Andrea follows close behind you, but Max stays down below. When you pull yourself up over the top, you take a few careful steps in each direction, testing your weight on the boards. Mac, come up! Mac, come on up. It feels sturdy, you say. Nah, he says. I'll stay here. What are you even looking for? Max shouts to you, sounding worried. It's probably dangerous. I think you guys should come down. The careful scientist part of your brain agrees with Mac, but another part seems to have hijacked your senses. If this ship was a galleon, it was either carrying payment or merchandise, and that means a 50-50 chance of treasure. We'll be back. I just want to look around a bit, you holler back to Mac. You follow Andrea as she crosses the deck and ducks through a dark doorway into one of the cabins below. It's empty below deck, as though it was ransacked of every crate, rope, or piece of furniture that might have once filled it. Chances are the treasure's gone too, you think. You look at the ship itself. The wooden boards are smooth with age, and the detailed carving around the doorways evokes another era. It's so different from the sterile white metal construction of Albatross 3. The boards creak beneath your feet, and you hear the wind whistling eerily through the holes in the hull. On second thought, I'm not so sure this is safe either, you say, peering at the thick cobwebs and dark corners. I mean, this is amazing, but it could collapse at any moment. Oh, I don't know it. It seems sturdy to me, Andrea says, slapping the door frame. Let's go a little farther, she says, and gives you a sly smile. You pass through a low...
Wait! Sly smile?
Sly...
Just you and her alone? She saying stuff is sturdy? He's slapping things? This feels like a Fred and Daphne go alone, while the other ones are, have to go down a floor or something.
Are you implying that we're gonna start kissing?
Maybe?
Because I hope so. You pass through a low doorway into another empty room. Suddenly you have a splitting pain in your head and a ringing in your ears, and everything in front of you vibrates and blurs. You blink to clear your vision and notice the room feels warmer. The wood is burnished and new looking. You glance to your right. A candle burns on an ornate desk covered with long rolls of ivory paper. And a man with long curly hair and a dark green suit is sitting at the desk with a quill in his hand. He looks up at you and tries to speak. Blood seeps through his fine white shirt, dripping down from the ear-to-ear slit across his throat. You gasp and step back as his head thunks down onto the floor and rolls to your feet. His brown eyes are wide open, looking at a blood-smeared silver rapier. You shout and stumble back into the room Andrea is in. You're white as a sheet. What happened? You can't speak, only shake your head and point. Andrea walks past you into the room, and you look over her shoulder, but it's empty. Wow, look at this! Andrea bends down and picks up a beautiful silver sword, covered in rust instead of blood. I saw a head, the sword, there was blood? Andrea looks at you in alarm. Are you feeling okay? She asks. I guess so, you say, sounding anything but. Andrea continues through another doorway. You don't want to be left alone. You coming? She asks. If you follow...
Not yet.
If you follow Andrea, turn to page 36. If you're feeling too uneasy and tell Andrea you are going to head back up on deck, instead, turn to page 39.
I mean, let's follow Andrea. I mean, obviously she's gonna kill us, but,
Maybe it'll be in a sexy way.
Maybe. Or a scary way.
Ooh. You follow Andrea down 6 or 7 stairs into a long, cavernous space that smells like sea salt. She takes careful, creaking steps and holds the rusted sword out to one side. You follow and notice shapes leering in the darkness ahead of you in the few glints of light that have filtered all the way down here. You get close and realize they are human skeletons, their wrists and ankles bound to the sides of the ship in rusted iron shackles. Oh no, Andrea, look, you say, stopping in your tracks, but she doesn't stop or even turn around. You try again. I don't like this. I'm going back up. Just a little farther, she says. Don't you want to find the treasure? Had you said anything about treasure to her? You kept going, not wanting to be left alone. Without warning, Andrea whirls around and pushes you up against the slimy wall, pressing the sword to your throat. Oh,
this is get a little spicy. There's entire books written around this premise.
There's no escaping now, Andrea says, a cold voice you don't recognize. You dared to disturb our island, and now you will never leave. You will never tell anyone about the things you saw here. Andrea, you stutter. What are you talking about? What are you doing? It's me. Andrea, is that the name of the foolish woman who stumbled into the jungle all by herself last night? The face before you is suddenly transformed. It's not Andrea at all, but a young man with long black hair and a huge scar across his face. You shouldn't have come here. That man you saw with his head cut off, he made the same mistake as you did many years ago. I took care of them all. Sadly, this old blade isn't sharp enough to cut off your head, but I've got another idea. The man with the scar snaps a set of iron shackles around your wrists and steps back, sneering at you. You tug hard, but the chains are thick and heavy. He laughs at you, a dry, cruel laugh. Then, without another word, he turns and walks away. You hear the footsteps above you, and you wonder if it's him or if it might be Mac coming to rescue you. But minutes pass and no one comes. You shout Mac's name, even Andrea's name, over and over until your throat burns and even breath, until your throat burns to even breathe. You are alone. In time, your bones will also adorn the inside of the ship, gleaming white in whatever sunlight might ever reach your remains. The end.
Do you think whenever the face transformed, it still had, like, Adria's body and, like, it was just like, oh, do I like this? Is this a thing?
Am I into this? The ghost is like, stop! Stop being...
I mean, you already have the knife to my neck right now, so, I mean, this is basically the start of a date, right?
Yeah. Stop being horny. Alright, so if we took the other way, if we felt uneasy and we decided to head back up to the deck. Andrea, I'm heading back, you announce. You pull yourself back up to the top deck and look over the edge for Mac, but you don't see him. Perhaps he walked around to the other side. You turn and jump. A person is sitting beside you on the deck, leaning against the gunwale. It's a boy, perhaps 12 or 13. He's wearing an old-fashioned sailor outfit, with a cap and a kerchief around his neck. He's working to untie a tangled knot of rope, and looks up to you with tired eyes. His face is so pale you feel like you can almost see right through it. You're not sure what to say, but he speaks up first. Be careful, eh? He says. I'd get out of here quickly if I was you. Oh, his accent is distinctly British. I only know how to do a posh accent. And it's only because I've listened to the entire audiobook of both Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a third book.
Oh, God, I really just need to buy the audiobook for that and just listen to it at work. Anyways.
There's so many jokes I want to make that I can't.
So I already know about the Barbie in the freezer, so that's one.
No, there's other ones.
I know there's other ones.
I can think of at least 6 other things.
Freezer Barbie. Who are you? Where did you come from, you ask? The hair on your neck is standing up. Name's Jimmy. Jimmy Parsons. I never made it home. I hope you will. You look like a nice person. Where's your home? London, says Jimmy, smiling a bit. Well, we're heading to America, California. But you can hitch a ride with us that far. He's so friendly, you find yourself wanting to help him, even though you have no idea if you'll ever make it back home yourself. It's too late for me, he says resignedly, putting down his rope. He takes off his cap, grabs his thick, dirty blonde hair, and pulls his head clean off. You see? He says, mouth moving and his eyebrows bouncing, even though there's 8 inches of air between the bloody stump of his neck and his head. I didn't make it off the island alive. You feel breathless and numb. Was this your ship, you ask, desperate for any information? What happened to you? What? I don't understand. Who are you? Jimmy puts his head back on and stands up. Come on, follow me, he says, and walks away from you down the deck towards the rope ladder. But before he reaches it, he disappears. A moment later, he's down on the beach, walking slowly back towards your camp. He looks over his shoulder at you and waves his hand for you to follow him. If you decide to follow Jimmy, turn to page 35. If you think things are getting too weird and decide to wait here for your friends, go on to the next page.
Oh, Let's follow Jimmy.
Okay, so page 5. Hey, wait, you call out, following Jimmy back onto the beach. He's just a little too far ahead of you. But Jimmy doesn't slow down. He keeps turning around and smiling as he walks, urging you on. You're walking so fast you're almost jogging, while Jimmy keeps a calm, cool pace, and still, you can't catch up. You're almost back to the wreckage of Albatross 3, when Jimmy turns to look at you one last time. Good luck, mate, he chirps and pulls his head off again, just a little bit, as if he's tipping his hat to you. Then he smiles and turns away. Before you can answer, he vanishes. You stop walking. Frustrated, you walked all this way just to have him disappear without any explanation. You put your hands on your knees and look back at the old shipwreck galleon. You should probably head back and find Andrea and Mac. But then you hear a noise. A muted, rhythmic thwop, thwop, thwop that gets louder and louder. It takes you a few seconds to recognize the sound of the helicopter rotor. You look up as the sand around you begins to drift and billow in the wind from the huge spinning blades. The familiar orange and white of the U.S. Coast Guard hovers above you, and you see a pilot peek out the window and wave to you with a gloved hand. You wave back, and you suppose you shouldn't be mad at Jimmy Parsons after all. The end.
Okay, I mean, it was a little cute that he tipped his entire head.
I know, that was cute.
That's cute. Yeah, I'm pro that. I guess the other ending. I guess the other one would be an ending too.
Yes,
let's see what happens if we if we're rude.
Yeah,
like extremely rude.
Yeah, what? You watch Jimmy go. Glad to have distance between you and anything that can pull its own head off. Where on the earth are Mac and Andrea? You think, exasperated. You look over the side of the ship again. Mac, you say cautiously. Maybe he already walked back to camp. Your eyes fall on Jimmy Parsons again, still trotting down the beach by himself. And you take a step backwards to get a better view, not paying attention to where you're going. You bump into an old cannon behind you and fall backwards, smacking the back of your head on the gunwale. You wake up with no idea what happened, and no concept of how long you were out. Light in the sky looks like afternoon. You feel sunburned and sore. You try to sit up but are stopped by a searing pain in your head. Then the deck starts shaking beneath you. You're sure the old, beat-up ship is about to collapse, but you realize the whole island is shaking. The mountain erupts with a sound of 1,000 sand dynamite explosions. A gray-black cloud of ash blows high, and a mass of pieces of rock are hurled through the air in arcs, leaving trails of dust and steam, like a jet's contrail. It's followed by a wall of hot gas, mud, and rock hurtling down the mountainside towards you at 400 miles per hour. At this rate, you don't have much time to contemplate your last moments on Earth, but you do say a quick apology in your head to Jimmy Parsons. You might see him sooner than you'd hoped. The end. Got hit by the pyroclastic flow.
I wonder what your little ghost trick would be. Is it going to be like you catch yourself on fire? Like
that would like in Hereditary.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's Paimon. Yeah, Paimon.
I'll do the Paimon thing. Yeah, I'll saw my own head off with the piano wire. Spoiler alert for Hereditary. That happens.
Yeah.
Woo.
So like, I guess the lesson that we learn is don't be a dick to ghosts.
Yeah, when a polite little British boy invites you to get off an island, you should probably get off the island.
Now, if he's in the middle of a Victorian street, he's about to pickpocket you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes.
But the island British boys are fine. There's definitely not a whole book about what they do when they're left alone. I think when they need Lord of the Flies...
Upper class British boys, specifically. By the way, when I first read that book in high school, I did not know the context for why it was written, and I hated that book. And then I learned the context for why it was written, that it was a response to another book, and I was like, just kidding, this book fucking slaps. Alright.
Can you get to an ending from a previous choice?
Let's see. This one.
Like within the next 15 minutes.
Let me check. 1 moment. No. Well,
Okay.
if I read fast, yes.
Well, let's end it because let's just end it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We did take the shorter path. It looks like that we could have. The other side of the book is much longer.
Yeah, let's end it here and then do the outro and everything.
Sounds good.
And then we will start at another time.
Yes. Okay. Well, this was Blood Island. Like I said, it looks like we did the shorter path. The other path it looks really interesting. This is one of the books where you can loop back to other paths, it looks like. Which we always love. That's always cool. But yeah, so we'll pick this up again and do the other half of the book later. But this was fun. It was spooky.
Yeah, it's written pretty well for the pacing, for the spookiness and stuff is there.
Yeah. And it's only a 15 ending one, so it's not too long either. Yeah, the third planet from Altair had, what was it, 25 endings?
Let me see.
30?
It
was 25 or 30. It was a lot.
38.
Damn!
Yeah.
There is a book with 50, I think. Which just seems... that just seems ridiculous.
It seems excessive.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think it might be, let me check. Is it... Actually, I think it might be one of the good ones. Blood on the Handle. I want to say it's Moon Quest. Moon Quest has a ton of endings, and that's actually a good one.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this has been Turn to Your Doom, and we just read Blood Island, and remember, when a tiny British boy ghost shows you the way out, you should probably go with him. But if you are in Victoria, England, he is going to pickpocket you. That's a lesson.
The duality of a small British boy.
Of a small British boy in a sailor outfit. Alright, well, this has been Turn to Your Doom. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye!
Bye.